This is American Life. I'm Ira Glass. Each week in our program, of course, we choose some theme, bring you a variety of different kinds of stories on that theme. Today's program, apologies. Stories of people struggling to apologize against some difficult odds. We've arrived at Act 2 of our show. Act 2, dial S for sorry. In 1980, a New Yorker named Alan Bridge set up a telephone line that he called the Apology Line. And the way it worked was that you could call and confess to anything you wanted, and you'd be recorded. Or you could call and you could listen to other people's confessions. And over time, this is all pre-internet days, over time the whole thing turned into this little community of confession. People recorded messages responding to each other's apologies. Mr. Apology, Alan Bridge, would leave messages responding to messages himself, or sometimes he would call callers off the line and talk to them. Back in 1997, we played some recordings from the line on our program. We've never rerun it, and we thought it might be appropriate to hear some of them today.
Yes, I'd like to apologize because I broke the town hall windows. I flooded the basement. I broke windows at the back of a store uptown. I feel pretty bad about it because I did so much vandalism. I'm only 16 years old. I did so much vandalism. If I was caught, I'd be in the juvie hall for a pretty long time, I'd say. I'm sorry for harassing the Republican officials, making the bomb threats and the death notices. I'm sorry for the terrorism, the firebombing that I was, the guy paid me to do to some guy's house. I'm sorry for the burnings in the streets of Smithtown, Long Island. I'm sorry for the way I'm calling right now. I'm calling by way of a phony credit card. I'm sorry for harassing the teacher in school. I feel bad about it. I'd like to have a new lease on life. What else? I'm sorry for just harassing a lot of people, for causing pain to my family. I felt so sad. I was sick. I was sick by it. That's all I have to say. Yeah. So long.
Yeah, I want to apologize for something, and maybe, well, I guess it's too late to apologize for it, but I'm going to apologize for it now. My mother was bedridden for a while, and she used to get Social Security on welfare, and I had no job, and I had no way of making money. And when she was hungry or thirsty, I used to make her give me money to give her a drink. Like, she'd have to give me $5 for a glass of water, $10 for a sandwich. And now she's passed away, and I can't say I'm sorry to her, because I know what I did was probably the most horrible thing in the world. And I'll never be able to say I'm sorry to her, and I hope I go to hell and burn there for this, because it wasn't right. And if there's some way that she can hear me, I just want to tell her I'm sorry. Thank you.
I've never told anyone this except my shrink. I accidentally killed my younger sister when I was a very small child, and it's haunted me all my life because I didn't really mean it. It was just a game to me, and I was really too young to realize what I was doing, and I was putting her head inside a plastic orange bag and putting a rubber band around her neck just to see her face turn blue, and I guess it was a lot of fun, and I didn't mean to anything bad to happen, but I guess I didn't realize what would happen if I did this too long, and she suffocated, and I hid the plastic bag, and I went out of the house. My parents weren't home, and they never found out. They thought it was crib death. They never found out I did it, and I've never been able to tell them. I think it would hurt them worse than having her, losing her, to find out that I did it. I kind of wish my parents could hear this tape, but I guess they never will.
Hi. I'm a runaway, and all I want to say is that I'm kind of sorry that I left. See, I'm 15, and I saw your number in the newspaper. When I saw it, I had to call, because it's like, I mean, you walk around on the street all day long, just looking for someone who just might say, hey, want a place to go? You come with me. I give you food and everything. And they won't ask for anything back. That's all I want. I guess I take up too much time on the tape. But I just gotta talk.
The apology line doesn't exist anymore. Mr. Apology, Alan Bridge, died in August of 1995. When he did, the line was deluged with hundreds of messages from its regular callers, grieving. His wife Marissa says it was never clearer what the apology line had meant to people. For years, people had used it to talk about all sorts of experiences.
I think that maybe the word apology means something bigger than just saying you're sorry. Or at least maybe not the word, but the line came to mean to people a place where one could go and bring their feelings, to confess, not necessarily about doing something wrong, but to confess about having a feeling.
When he was alive, would you ever call the line or be tempted to call the line?
I called the line in the beginning when I first knew him, before I moved in with him. I called the line from time to time.
And you'd apologize for stuff.
Well, yeah, sometimes, but more to get his attention than anything else, I think. So he wouldn't forget about me up in Washington Heights, where I was living.
What would you apologize for back then? Do you remember what you would say?
Oh, they were all like, just to get his attention. Things like, I'm really sorry I was flirting with another guy, or something like that. All very much part of the mating game.
But once you actually had a real relationship with him, you wouldn't call the line, and you didn't feel a need to ever.
No, but one thing that really struck me was after he died, I really turned into an apology line caller, someone I would define as apology line caller, and the line was over. So when I really needed the line, it wasn't there. I was just completely lost, and I would have loved to have been able to call the apology line and have someone like Alan on the other side, very sympathetic and understanding, to help me get through it. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So, I mean, I'm a much darker person than I was before he died, and I think that I understand the callers and the line much better than I even did before.
He died in this scuba accident where he was hit by a jet skier who then fled the scene and wasn't caught. Have you thought about the kinds of people who would call the line, who used to call the line all the time, who had done bad things to other people and hurt other people, and then would flee the scene and nobody would ever know? Have you thought about those jet skiers in terms of that, in terms of the people who used to call the line?
Yes, in fact, the person that hit him would also be a prime candidate for the apology line, because we think that he knew that he did something, because there were witnesses that saw the accident, and they saw someone on a jet ski hit him. They circled around once and then took off. So, yeah. But
you can imagine those people actually calling the line. If they would have called the line, if the line had existed for them, what would have happened? What would Mr. Apology have said if he were around to say it?
I think he would be pretty pissed off, but he would forgive them. I think that's how he would have gone for it. I think he would have been angry that he was hit. That was a total accident, but I think that if they would have apologized for hitting him, he would have forgiven them. Because I think that forgiveness was a big part of his personality. I think he really believed in the power of forgiveness, and everyone can be forgiven.